From post-Fukushima Japan, which chose to phase out nuclear power, to Sweden, South Korea, France, and Belgium, all are restarting the nuclear plants and even planning to build new ones. Why are global nuclear policies making such a sharp U-turn? Taiwan, once at the anti-nuclear forefront, just this May became Asia's first nuclear-free nation, but then it turned around and found everyone is re-embracing nuclear energy, leading one moment, lagging the next. Should Taiwan stick to its phase-out plan or follow the trend back to nuclear? What challenges would it face turning back? From Chernobyl to Fukushima, the shadow of nuclear energy has loomed over the entire world. In Taiwan, this anti-nuclear wave was also present. Do you remember? In 2013, over 200,000 people took to the streets shouting, "Zero nuclear power. I am human, I am anti-nuclear, abolish nuclear power." It was almost a national consensus. But unexpectedly, the global anti-nuclear wave took a shocking turn. A key turning point came at the 2023 UN Climate Conference. The United States, France, Japan, and over 20 other countries jointly pledged that by 2050, global nuclear energy capacity would be tripled. This essentially told the world nuclear power is officially back. Countries gradually realized that to achieve net zero emissions and slow global warming, nuclear energy is indispensable. Because, like renewable energy, it has relatively low carbon emissions, and it provides stable 24/7 power. It fills the gap when wind and solar fail. Another more pressing factor is closely tied to our jobs: AI. The International Energy Agency warned that as AI servers increase, global data center power consumption will double in just 6 years. Its share of global electricity use is projected to soar from 1.5% to 3%. In the US, this trend is even more dramatic. By 2035, data centers alone will consume 8.6% of national electricity, more than double the current amount. These two unstoppable forces changed many countries' energy policies. Take Sweden, once an anti-nuclear pioneer, now it's making a major U-turn, planning to build 10 new reactors. And Japan, after the painful lesson of Fukushima, has chosen to restart existing plants. It is also investing more in safer next-generation reactors. But the most surprising case is probably Germany. A country that already went nuclear-free is now debating bringing nuclear power back. This pro-nuclear trend has even reached the tech world. Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, these tech giants, are now frantically buying nuclear power to feed their hungry AI data centers. Microsoft founder Bill Gates saw this trend coming long ago. His nuclear company, TerraPower, is developing next-gen nuclear tech. It's called Small Modular Reactors, or SMRs for short. These reactors are not only safer, but also cheaper. This technology also caught the eye of AI chip king NVIDIA, which has invested heavily. According to the latest data from August, nearly 80% of Taiwan's electricity comes from burning coal and natural gas. The Ministry of Economic Affairs' goal is that after the third plant shuts down by the end of 2026, renewable energy's share will rise to 20%. But even if that goal is met, the share of thermal power will still remain around 80%. This means Taiwan's carbon emissions will still be very high, because thermal power's greenhouse gases are dozens of times higher than nuclear. While the world is moving towards the 2050 net zero emissions goal, Taiwan's main power generation method is clearly moving in the opposite direction. Besides pressure to reduce carbon, Taiwan faces an even bigger challenge: AI. With the AI and semiconductor boom over the next decade, from 2024 to 2033, Taiwan's average annual growth in power use will reach 2.8%, higher than originally expected. Another figure is even more stunning. AI-related electricity consumption, which was 240,000 kilowatts in 2023, by 2028 will skyrocket to 2.24 million kilowatts. In just 5 years, that's over a 9-fold increase. 2.24 million kilowatts already exceeds the entire output of the third nuclear plant. Power from one nuclear plant isn't even enough for AI alone. If Taiwan bets its future on AI, this is the reality it must face. Even when Jensen Huang visited Taiwan, he worried about Taiwan's power supply. He suggested that besides wind and solar, Taiwan should also invest in nuclear and not stigmatize nuclear energy. He made it very clear, for the entire AI industry, the most important thing is stable and sufficient power. Many countries realize this and pragmatically re-embrace nuclear. But this path for Taiwan is harder than imagined. Taiwan's path to restarting nuclear power is so difficult, mainly due to 3 hurdles. Hurdle 1, legal regulations. Originally, 2 laws deadlocked nuclear power. One was the 2025 Nuclear Free Homeland Clause in the Electricity Act, the other, the Nuclear Regulation Act. It said plants must retire after 40 years, and to get an extension, applications were due 5 to 10 years before. The first clause, 2025 Nuclear Free Home, after a 2018 pro-nuclear referendum, was removed by the legislature, ending mandatory plant shutdowns. But under the Nuclear Regulation Act, once a license expired, the plant still had to be decommissioned, unless an extension was granted. The problem was, Taipower didn't apply by the deadline. The door opened halfway, then was shut again. So, what could be done? The legislature amended the law again, completely removing the application deadline. Now plants can apply for extensions anytime, but the law only opens the door. Whether to walk through it is still up to the government. So a referendum to restart the plant passed, hoping public opinion would push the gov. However, this push also drew criticism from opponents. Hurdle 2. Safety concerns. Opponents' first concern is geological safety. They're very worried about an active fault line near the plant. What if a major earthquake hits? They also believe this nuclear plant is already 40 years old and many parts are aging. Extending its service could lead to future problems. Furthermore is the issue of nuclear waste disposal. They question Taiwan has nearly 20,000 high-level rods and 210,000 plus barrels of low-level waste, with no final storage plan yet decided. Even temporary on-site storage passes the problem to the next generation. Hurdle 3. Cost considerations. In 2018, Taipower estimated restarting would cost about 30 billion NT, but opponents immediately countered with a foreign example. California's Diablo Canyon nuclear plant. Just a 5-year extension costs $11.8 billion US, which is about 350 billion NT. That's a difference of more than 10 times. How should the restart cost be calculated? This became a major point of contention. Legal shackles, safety concerns, and staggering costs. While the world looks to the future, investing in next-gen nuclear power, Taiwan still argues over a 40-year-old plant. These next-gen nuclear technologies, whether it's safer, more flexible, small modular reactors, microreactors, or revolutionary Gen 4 nuclear tech, or even nuclear fusion, the holy grail, they differ from traditional nuclear power. Next time, we'll talk about these game-changing new nuclear techs, what they are, can they help Taiwan solve its energy crisis?